When European settlers arrived in America, they quickly discovered that life here was anything but easy. They faced immense challenges in adapting to an environment that was entirely different from Europe. It's very likely that they would have never survived if it weren't for the help of the Native Americans, who practically taught them how to live off the land. They shared their techniques for farming, preserving food, and hunting, among many other skills. The Native Americans' prowess was impressive then, and it remains astonishing today. There are stories of solitary hunters bringing down adult bison with just a bow, which sounds almost like a legendary feat, but for them it might not have been so remarkable, considering that their ancestors had to deal with extinct creatures that would make any modern animal seem like an innocent pet. Today, scientists believe that the Paleo-Indians, the first Native Americans, arrived in America around 30,000 years ago, entering a world dominated by animals that no longer exist. Many of these creatures resembled those we still know today, while others became extinct in the United States, but can still be found elsewhere in the world. Then there were those beings that not only disappeared forever, but were so incredible and different from anything that exists today that it's a mystery how Native Americans managed to coexist with them. Up next, I'm going to introduce you to some of the most iconic animals from that era. The first animal on the list is a mammal that will leave you speechless. Imagine an armadillo so large that it could be mistaken for a dinosaur. This is the Glyptotherium. From a distance, you might have confused it with an ankylosaurus, thanks to the impressive armor covering its entire body. But in reality, it was an armadillo. It belonged to the subfamily of glyptodonts, known for their size. Some were as small as a dog, while others reached the size of a small car. The Glyptotherium was one of the largest, growing over 2 meters in length and weighing more than 1,165 kilograms, equivalent to the weight of a large male giraffe. Its enormous size was mainly due to its gigantic shell, made up of countless bony plates known as osteoderms. This armored dome was one of the most iconic features of glyptodonts, but the Glyptotherium had an even thicker and taller armor than others of its kind, with osteoderms sometimes reaching 5 centimeters in thickness. That's 8 times thicker than the strongest turtle shells that exist today. This extra armor provided formidable defense against predators. And in addition, its head and tail were also protected by this tough shield. Despite all this weight and protection, the Glyptotherium wasn't as clumsy as you might imagine. Its osteoderms weren't completely fused, which gave it some flexibility and agility to escape danger. However, when it came time to fight, this giant armadillo didn't just rely on its armor. Although its tail didn't have a spiked club like the Doedicurus, it was an extremely tough bony tube formed by rings with sharp points. Initially, paleontologists believed this tail was just for display, but it's now thought that it could also be used as a weapon. The tail's musculature was powerful, allowing it to swing with surprising speed, reaching up to 40 kilometers per hour. It's possible that it used this tail to strike unsuspecting predators. This armored giant was a significant evolutionary success, inhabiting regions like Texas, Louisiana, Florida, and South Carolina until about 15,700 years ago. Despite its size and armor, it wasn't too much of a challenge for Native Americans, who hunted it for food. At a fossil site in Texas, evidence was found that humans consumed some of its osteoderms, and in another location, numerous Glyptotherium skulls were discovered that had been skinned in a similar manner. Before we continue, if you like what you are watching, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our future content. It really helps support the channel and keeps us bringing you more quality content videos like this one. Now, let's get back to it. Not all the animals that coexisted with Native Americans were as easy to hunt, such as the fearsome giant wolf, known as the dire wolf. Despite its name, these animals weren't exactly wolves, but rather a unique genus of canines, more closely related to jackals than to modern wolves. From a distance, you might mistake them for wolves, but a much larger one with reddish fur. Dire wolves were, on average, as large as the biggest gray wolves ever recorded, reaching a maximum size of 110 kilograms. This makes them the largest canines to have ever existed. Not only were they big, but they also had a terrifying bite. Their jaws were incredibly powerful, similar to those of hyenas, allowing them to have the strongest bite of any known canine. This strength enabled them to hunt large prey such as giant sloths, horses, bison, and even mastodons. But what made them even more deadly was their social behavior. They are believed to have hunted in packs of between 12 and 30 individuals, making them a formidable threat to any creature that crossed their path. They were so successful that, in many cases, they were the most common carnivores of their time, outnumbering other predators by the thousands. A clear example of this is the La Brea tar pits, where more than 2,000 direwolf skeletons have been recovered, far more than any other animal. Fortunately for the humans who shared territory with them, there is no direct evidence of encounters between the two species, although this could change with future discoveries. But one thing is certain, they weren't easy company in prehistoric America. In addition to direwolves, humans faced other intimidating predators, such as the smilodon, one of the most fearsome and largest felines to have ever existed. This feline, particularly the smilodon populator, was comparable in size to a Kodiak bear, while the Smilodon fatalis was the size of the largest modern lions, and the Smilodon gracilis was similar to a jaguar. Only S. fatalis coexisted with humans in North America. S. populator was in South America, and S. gracilis had been extinct for 500,000 years. The S. fatalis had saber-like fangs up to 28 centimeters long, longer than the teeth of a T-Rex, perfect for hunting large prey such as bison, camels, glyptodonts, mastodons, young mammoths, and horses. These fangs allowed it to strike at the throat of its prey to ensure a quick death. Although its bite wasn't very powerful, it had sharp retractable claws to grip its prey during the hunt. The Smilodon was also an excellent jumper, capable of reaching heights of up to 3.7 meters. And was well adapted to precise hunting, with sharp sensory perception and coordination. Fossils suggest that these felines may have been social animals, hunting in groups like modern lions, implying they competed with humans for prey and territories. This competition could have led to deadly encounters, as the Smilodon was capable of taking down unsuspecting humans. Findings of earlier saber-toothed cats that hunted hominids reinforce this possibility. Even today, large felines still pose a danger, with around 500 attacks on humans annually, so it's not unlikely that the Smilodon also attacked humans. Mammoths and mastodons were giants that Native Americans faced alongside other predators like direwolves and saber-toothed tigers. These animals, including the Columbian mammoth, woolly mammoth, pygmy mammoth, and American mastodon, were enormous, comparable to or even larger than today's elephants. The Columbian mammoth was the largest surpassing African elephants with a height of 3.75 meters and a weight of up to 12.5 tons. The woolly mammoth, though smaller, weighed around 8 tons and had a height similar to that of modern elephants. The American mastodon, shorter at 2.1 meters tall, could weigh up to 11 tons due to its robust body. These giants were well protected with thick skins and, in the case of woolly mammoths and mastodons, dense coats of fur that shielded them from the cold as well as from attacks. Their tusks were versatile tools used for various tasks. They inhabited different habitats. Mastodons preferred coniferous forests, woolly mammoths the steppes, and Columbian mammoths the grasslands. Humans began hunting these animals almost as soon as they arrived in America over 20,000 years ago, though initially hunting was difficult due to the toughness of their hides. However, around 13,000 years ago, the Clovis culture, with its advanced projectile points, began hunting mammoths and mastodons more effectively. Clovis hunters targeted the animals' torsos and used the remains for food and tools. A notable case is that of a female mammoth at the Naco hunting site, which showed how these animals were intensely hunted. The pygmy mammoth, the smallest relative, went extinct about 13,000 years ago, coinciding with the arrival of humans on its islands. One of the most interesting creatures that coexisted with the first Native Americans was the camelops. Although its name might not sound impressive and it wasn't the largest animal, camelops was unique for being a camel that lived in America, something that would be quite curious to see today. Studies show that camelops was, in fact, a true camel. Although its exact appearance remains a mystery, it's unclear whether it had 2 humps, 1 or none, as their bodies didn't fossilize well. However, we know it was taller than modern camels, being approximately 20% taller at the shoulders due to its extensively elongated legs. Like its living relatives, Camelops is believed to have been a herbivore that fed on shrubs and low plants, primarily inhabiting the western United States, although traces have also been found in Tennessee to the east. Footprints indicate that it traveled long distances in search of food, sometimes crossing paths with Native Americans who are known to have hunted it. However, despite its smaller size and lack of armor or defensive weapons, Camelops appears to have been hunted much less frequently than other large animals, as most specimens found show no signs of damage. Additionally, in sites with abundant Camelops remains, no stone tools have been found, leading some paleontologists to believe that these camels weren't a staple food for humans. A giant beaver known as Castoroides was one of the most impressive creatures Native Americans might have seen, although it seems they left them alone. These giant beavers average 1.9 meters in length, with some reaching up to 2.2 meters, making them 3 times heavier than an adult German Shepherd. Their incisors, up to 15 centimeters long, were elongated and textured, unlike the smooth teeth of modern beavers. Castoroides had a broad and deep jaw, giving it a powerful bite for cutting wood or digging. Despite its size, it was an agile swimmer with adaptations like a longer tail and webbed hind feet. Its diet consisted of aquatic plants rather than wood, suggesting a more aquatic lifestyle than that of modern beavers. Direct interactions with humans were rare, and only one fossil site contains both human artifacts and Castoroids' bones. In Canada, however, some First Nations include these giant beavers in their mythology, suggesting that the legends might have been inspired by these ancient beavers. Castoroides went extinct about 11,000 years ago, and with it, much of America's fauna, which today represents only 30% of what it once was. Some paleontologists believe humans contributed to this extinction through hunting and competition, while others point to climate change as the primary cause. It's unfortunate that we can't see these incredible creatures that once inhabited America. Throughout this video, we've explored a fascinating array of giants and monsters that once roamed America. Despite their impressive size and abilities, these animals face threats from both climate change and the first humans, who left their mark on these ancient giants. Although many of these species no longer exist, their legacy continues to fascinate us, reminding us of the rich diversity of prehistoric wildlife. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the past. That's all for today. If you enjoyed the video, leave your like and subscribe to support me to create more content. See you soon in the next video.